this gold medal final, the Brazilians. Australia took the first set 12-11.
I remember the moment that I realised that being a volleyball player could become a career, and it was actually not during my indoor volleyball career. It was when I switched to beach and I saw there was an opportunity to one, win prize money, which would keep me on tour, to two, get sponsorship, which would also pay for coaches and the equipment and things like that we needed. And I was already in my late 20s at that point, so to change a career, I guess, in that sense at that age was a little bit scary. I quit my job, a full-time, very well-paid job, to go on tour and be a full-time athlete. So that's always a little bit scary, but the passion that I had for the sport and the opportunity that I saw was the driver. And then it kind of made us accountable as well, because we gave up a lot, we sacrificed a lot, so it made us fight really hard when we were out on the court and fight for that win, and each and every win. And I remember Natalie and I sometimes sitting in the hotel room calculating how much each win would mean to us in dollar figures, because that would then pay for our flights and which hotel, you know, whether it was the 3-star or the 4-star hotel that we were able to afford at the next event, whether we were able to fly back to Australia for a week and have a week off instead of stay in Europe until the next event. So, you know, we'd literally say, look, tomorrow's game is going to be worth an extra $1,000. And, you know, sometimes that inspired us, sometimes that scared us, but that's just the way it was. A lot of work goes into preparing to reach the summit, you know, the top, the pinnacle of not just our sport, but any goal that someone sets themselves. And for us, obviously, it was the Olympic gold medal at Bondi Beach. And the moment that it actually happens and that dream is realised is kind of a really surreal moment, because I even look back at the footage now and I see my face while I'm playing that match, and I was in the zone. I was in this zone, this zone that cannot be described, it can't be taught. It's like you're in a cone of silence, and it's this big glass dome around you, and you're not thinking, you're feeling the game, and you're so in sync with your partner, you're so in sync with the minds of the people that you're playing against that it doesn't really matter what the situation is, it's just point by point by point. And that's where we had got to in our preparation. And the last two balls that I served out, one was an ace and then one was a really difficult serve, and they weren't able to control it. As that ball landed out, all I can remember was I just collapsed and I almost didn't want to see anything. My head was stuck in the sand. Natalie was on top of me, willing me to get up and cheer with the crowd. The crowd was screaming, but all I could think of was, it was almost like I was almost scared, because I didn't know what to think and what to feel. We'd visualised that moment, but I didn't know how I was really going to feel. It took a while to kind of sink in, and eventually when she was able to drag me up and I looked up and I saw the crowd, it was like that cone of silence, the glass kind of shattered down next to me on the sand, and I could see the faces of the people and I could see their elation, and it was like, oh my God, we're done. We did everything that we said we were going to do, and it worked. And I remember thinking, it worked. It worked, it worked, because we planned it. There was no fluke in that day. We planned every moment. And I think that we had every sort of emotion as well. In the next 24 hours, there was all sorts, relief, joy, love, everything was going on. But I think the biggest thing I thought was, it worked.
They have played their part this week. What a story. Kerry Pottharst, 35 years of age, her 25-year-old partner Natalie Cook. They won bronze back in Atlanta. They split up in the meantime.
A very, very special club.
And now they're back as gold medalists.
Doesn't get any better than this.